Hello, my name's Corrigan Nadon-Nichols, and I work at North American Students of Cooperation. This is segment 3 in a series of videos about incorporation and housing co-ops. This video is about the costs of incorporating. What does it take to actually form a corporation? As we talked about in the previous video, there's many benefits of incorporation. Your leases can be legally enforceable as agreements between the co-op and individual members and other parties. Financial debts and obligations are assigned to the co-op and not to any individual member. And the third is that legal liabilities are assigned to the co-op and not to any individual member. But if all of these benefits sound great, so why not do it? There's a number of costs and steps that go into forming a corporation, so there might be reasons that you don't actually want to form a corporation. So let's go over that. There are three main areas of what it takes to become a corporation. First, to incorporate, you have to fill out a bunch of paperwork and pay some money. It varies from state to state, but it might be as low as $20 or as much as $150 to become a corporation. You do this by filling out some paperwork and submitting it to a state agency in whatever state you're forming it in. Usually it's the Secretary of State, or there might be a Department of Business Affairs. It's not very long paperwork, but you do want to make sure it's filled out correctly, and sometimes you might want to hire a lawyer to look that over for you. And then each year, to maintain your incorporation status, you have to submit paperwork to the state and pay a small fee as well. So it's ongoing amount of paperwork and money, and if you forget to do it, then they might dissolve your corporation. It's no longer recognized as a legal entity, and there might be late fees and penalties on top of that. The second part of being a corporation is that you often have to pay taxes. You'll need to file a tax return with the IRS and whatever state you're operating in each year. If your co-op has a surplus for the year, then you would have to pay a percentage of that as taxes. Depending on your situation, you can often adjust your income. You can often reimburse members in such a way that you don't have much of a tax liability, but you have to have an accountant look that over and make sure you're doing things correctly. So there's that cost of an accountant to help prepare your tax filings, possible paying of tax, and if you're late, penalties and interest for failing to file. And the third is what I will call kind of creditworthiness and trust overall. Basically, as a corporation, you have to jump through more hoops to get anything done. And this is because a corporation is just a piece of paper in some ways. If you want to, say, go to a grocery store that offers house purchasing accounts, where you can put it on your tab, which is a great thing for a co-op. If you're a person, they know who you are. You're flesh and blood. You have a driver's license, a social security number. They can trust you. They can track you down. Businesses are usually more willing to extend credit to a person. A corporation could just disappear into thin air. It could dissolve, it could go bankrupt, and none of the people involved are really hurt. So they'll usually want a little bit higher threshold to extend some kind of agreement to you. Similarly with utility companies, if you're trying to get a credit card or something like that in the name of the co-op, you have to fill out more paperwork. They'll want to see, have you been in business for a few years? Do you actually have money in the bank? Who are your officers? How does your organization work? You'll need to jump through a few more hoops to just kind of justify that you have a legit corporation that's ongoing business, that's stable, that's going to be able to pay its bills, and not just a piece of paper that can disappear in the middle of the night. So those are the three things that you have to keep up with. You have to fill out the paperwork to incorporate and submit annual report paperwork each year to maintain your corporate status. You need to file taxes every year with the federal government and state governments. And every time you engage in a new kind of business relationship with somebody, you're going to have to deal with a little more paperwork and do a little more work to show that your co-op as a corporation is a legitimate entity. So that's all the work that goes into doing it. But it's definitely achievable, and there's lots of people out there who can help a co-op form a corporation.